The Batman is undoubtedly one of the most iconic comic book characters. Of course, officially, Spider-Man has the title of most popular superhero, which is quite reasonable considering that it's easier to relate with a 15-year-old teenager from low-income family than with a psychotic billionaire who dresses up like a bat and beats the shit out of criminals. But in my opinion, Batman has always been more interesting hero. The sheer depth and complexity of his character and the fact that he doesn't possess any superhuman abilities could already be enough. Driven by childhood trauma, Bruce Wayne refuses to live a lavish and carefree life that he has and devotes himself to justice. You know, that's a very risky and expensive therapy if you ask me, but the guy is rich, so I guess he can afford it. Batman doesn't solely rely on technology like Iron Man would do, very often using brute force to overcome his enemies that usually tend to outnumber him. For a regular mortal human being, this guy got a lot of balls. The on-screen adaptations of this hero were also very iconic, starting from Michael Keaton with his stylistic Batman, Christian Bale as this ultra-realistic Dark Knight, and of course Ben Affleck with his violent bodybuilder version of Bruce Wayne. I know there was also that 1966 film, but that shit's just too old for me. And don't even mention the one with George Clooney where he had nipples. Let's just pretend that it never happened.
You serious?
Now, I have really high hopes for 2022 The Batman movie. Director Matt Reeves has a record of successful films, including 2 sequels from the Planet of the Apes trilogy, which I personally enjoyed. Judging by the trailers, it's gonna be some kind of noir thriller that'll follow first years of Bruce Wayne pursuing the career of masked vigilante. The main antagonist will be the Riddler, which pretty much implies that there will definitely be some detective elements in the story. I'm glad that Reeves chose to have the Riddler as the bad guy. It's a decent villain and if managed wisely can make the story infinitely more interesting. The cast, visuals and overall tone of the film seem quite promising. According to rumors, this version of Batman is gonna be a mentally deranged lunatic and I absolutely love it. You see, this guy has always been a little bit edgy and eccentric. He shouldn't be a symbol of hope and kindness like Superman. He's a representation of an idea that must strike fear in criminals. And Bruce Wayne? He's a kind of spoiled rich asshole who'll buy your company and fire you if you piss him off. On the surface, of course. I know some people weren't very happy that Robert Pattinson was going to play the Dark Knight, but I don't think in this case it really matters. You see, people tend to overestimate the actor's importance because that's the only thing they can see on the screen. Writers and the director always remain behind the curtains. We always remember iconic performances, but we underestimate all the other factors that made those performances work. Heath Ledger's Joker is amazing, but it wouldn't have been as amazing if The Dark Knight turned out to be a bad film. So no matter what's your opinion on Robert Pattinson's personality, you have to admit that he's a good actor who managed to separate himself from that horny Twilight vampire. And whether he'll succeed in his role as the Caped Crusader doesn't just revolve around his persona but depends on multiple factors, the most important of which might just be the quality of movie itself. Now, I know that any judgment I make about this upcoming project is based on trailers, and trailers are made to attract attention, which means they can be misleading. And yet, even though I can be wrong, I kind of feel that it's not the case with the Batman. And it might just be the best or one of the best comic book movies of recent years. But that's just what I think. Feel free to share your thoughts in comment section below. I'll see you next time. Peace.